Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and I got a question here. It's questions and goals from Oleg. And he says, I watched your other videos on making goals and really inspired me. But I have a little problem, and it sounds like more of an excuse than a problem, which is my ultimate goal in life is to live every day in happiness. That's an awesome goal. And do what I want. Well, that's going to be a little bit harder. But at the same time, I feel that it is pulling me away from my short-term goals, like acquiring certifications in IT. The one thing I hate in life is stress, and I want to minimize that as much as possible. What are your thoughts on this? Should I sacrifice happiness for success? Well, let me ask you something, Oleg. What is success? If success is determined in your happiness, then maybe you're not being very successful right now. Maybe you are worried too much about monetary things. You know, success is all fine and dandy. I used to measure success in dollars, and until I went broke, completely broke the second time, and I realized that I was going to be very unhappy being so broke, and that really I just needed to grasp some reality of, you know, what is happiness? Can I be happy without money? And the answer is yes, I can. Now, also, you want to be comfortable, because the money does allow you to do other things. But, you know, I look at it this way, and here's how I've done it, is that I worked damn hard for my first 15 years of my career, and I still work hard, but I worked especially hard, to the sacrifice of, you know, not hanging out with friends so often, and, you know, family sacrifices and stuff like that. And I worked really, really hard, but I was able to build things up, build my knowledge up, build my skills up, you know, build my money-making potential up. And then what happened is that I hit kind of this apex where things were going really good, and I had all kinds of money, and I was actually able to take a year off from doing anything and go out and really enjoy myself. I traveled the country multiple times during that year. I did a lot of videos and everything. I focused on things that I really enjoy. Now, I really enjoy making videos. Look at how many videos I make and tell me whether or not I'm happy. I'll tell you I am. So yes, hard work needs to be put in place. You need to build the foundation for where you want to be in, say, 10 years. And you know, there is ways to be happy at what you're doing too. You say you want your IT certifications. Well, you know, that can be kind of boring doing it, but you know what? You don't have to go to school for that. You can. I got some certifications. I was in IT. I got some certifications without ever stepping foot in a classroom. And you know, it's really about putting things into practice. And so, let me give you this statement: do what you want to be. And so, start thinking of it that way. You know, it's like a person who is a successful businessman is somebody who believes that they're a businessman or woman. You know, someone who is successful at, I don't know, making videos is someone who makes a lot of videos and counts every view as a success. Some have more success than others. And, you know, so your IT, start doing. And you know, your hands-on experience will allow you to, you know, reduce how much classroom time you need, and you can learn it all on your own. Now, I will admit, I learn in a classroom environment a lot better than reading from a book. I'm dyslexic. I have a really hard time, you know, like sitting down and reading a whole chapter of a book. It doesn't happen. Reading 4 or 5 pages and then putting the book down, that's how it works for me, because I just can't keep the attention span. My mind starts to wander and everything. I'm also ADHD, so I'm dyslexic, so I get the words all jumbled up and mixed up back together, and I have ADHD, so I can't take 5 minutes and not, oh my God, look at that bird, and say, and shit like that. So even if you have things that you consider to be failings about yourself, embrace them. Take your quirkiness and embrace it and make it part of who you are. Take your, I don't know, if you're a comedian, be the funniest damn IT guy ever. Take other things with it, or if you're racing cars as a hobby or whatnot, be the the best damn the fastest IT tech there is on 4 wheels. Incorporate what you love doing, what makes you happy, with the things that make you money, that help you with that, and spend your money wisely. I can tell you that. That's one thing that I have never done well. I can't seem to manage cash worth a darn. So it was always a matter of, okay, well, I have to make more to keep up. That's the wrong answer. It doesn't have to be that way. But, that's the way I did it for many, many years. And that sets you up for a crash and a fall, which then you're not happy. And if you're not good at managing money, then get someone to help you. There are services out there, at least here in the United States. There may be in other countries here as well, but there is a financial service. God, I can't remember what they're called, but there's several of them. And here's how the formula goes: it's that you join this club where you pay them like $200 a month to be a member of the club. But as a member of the club, they help you with all of your finances. They help you with setting goals. They help you with, putting money aside for retirement. They help you with putting aside emergency funds. And you have to do all the work. You have to do all that. But they also help you with paying all of your bills. In fact, some of them say, okay, you deposit it into this account, and just make sure that there's enough money there every month. We will take care of making sure that all of your bills are paid on time. We will pay them on the very last day that they're due, and we will put the money in an interest-bearing account so that you make as much money as possible on your funds until the very last day. And so they will help you with investments and everything, and what eventually happens is that your investments start growing. And that $100 or $200 a month that you're paying them ends up being covered by the earnings off of your investments. And so then you're getting the service for free. And, maybe just after doing it for a year, you've learned how to do everything, and you can just go off on your own. You don't need to pay anybody. You can take that other $200 a month and invest it. So, there's a lot of ways to look at this. And, so I have one other piece of advice for you, something that's helped me a lot. You said some of the videos have inspired you and everything, and I'm happy that, and I hope that this video inspires other people. That is a measurement of my success, by the way, is whether or not I have helped other people with videos like this. And so, but one other thing that's really helped me is to have a mentor. And so I do a lot of business. I really want to go, there's different levels of business and everything, and I have wanted to, keep reaching higher and higher and higher. And so I asked someone who really is in the top 1/10 of 1% of the wealthiest people in the United States. And I asked this person if they would mentor me. And, I knew him, and so I just said, whatever, I'm going to ask. And he obviously saw something in me because he said yes. And so I have not come anywhere near the levels of success that he's had. But when I ask him about the problems I'm having and everything, he says, oh yeah, 20 years ago we experienced that. And here's how we resolved that problem. Here's how we got to the next level. Here's what we did to take the next step. And he just helps me out, and that points me in the right direction. I don't have to figure this shit out myself. I mean, I have to work on it myself. There's a lot of other stuff that I have to figure out myself. But some of these things that is just like, there's no books that have information like that and everything. And there's nobody that you can't just call somebody up at this level and just say, hey, can you help me out with this? Because they want to charge you, or they're just too busy. It's not worth their time. Somebody who's that wealthy, even if you offered them $1,000 an hour, they may turn it down. And so really start thinking about who it is that inspires you and that is being successful in the areas that you want to work on. And that can be in IT. And so if you're working for a big corporation or whatnot, then maybe if you're friendly with one of the one of the vice presidents of IT, or a CIT, Chief Information Technology, CTO, Chief Technology Officer, these really high up people, if you went to them, if they knew you a little bit, and you went to them and said, I really look up to you, and I think you've done some really wonderful things, and I aspire to reach goals at the levels where you're at someday. And I really I want to ask you if it would be okay if I asked you some questions from time to time and, get a little bit of mentoring from you. Would you be my mentor? What you'll find is that sometimes these people will be very honored to have someone ask them that. And they'll say yes. And so, a buddy of mine was really into automation, machine automation, programming automation, and everything. And we met this guy who designed all of the automation for Toyota and stuff. He actually studied under Matsushita. Golly, I forget the name of the guy. He was Japanese. He was a brilliant Japanese guy who he built this method of quality control through automation and everything for Toyota. And it was in all of their assembly lines and everything. And what he did was, through this quality control through automation and figuring out what was the best ways to go, he saved the Toyota hundreds of millions of dollars. And so it became this formula. And this guy, David Bullock, who he went and studied under him about it, and he did things like, he got to meet him because he sold robots. And these are the big industrial robots that were assembling the cars and everything. And so these were like $1 million machines and everything, and he would sell a dozen of them or 2 dozen of them to a plant. And so he was top end of the sales chain, and he understood automation, and he understood his sales pitch was about, you spend 20 million on these and I will save you 100 million in the next couple of years. And if you make a pitch to a company like that, they're going to go, hell yeah. You show us the numbers, you prove it, we'll do it. I would. And so he developed Taguchi. It's the Taguchi system. His name was Taguchi. And so this whole system basically says, we test here, we test here, we test here. We run these 3 tests. The cycles go through so many times, and then you know which one is performing the best. You take the lowest performing one out. You put in another modeled off of the most successful performing one, trying to improve it. You put that in place, and you keep testing. And you bring up your performance each time. He developed this in programming for when people visit web pages, to say, okay, people have come to your web page and they're going to buy something. What makes them buy more? Not trickiness or sleight of hand or anything. It's just, what is it that customers want to see when they land on your page that says, I've found what I'm looking for? Well, it is this system that actually provides that. And Google split testing does that. Google Analytics and everything. And anyway, so my buddy, just really in awe of this guy, and we got to know him. We spent a weekend with him. There was just like 7 of us in a group, and we were learning this system. He was teaching us, and this was something that we paid really high dollars to go and do. And the guy that was teaching us, my friend, was so impressed by the whole system and knew he could learn so much from him. At the end of the conference, he walked up and he asked him if he would mentor him, and he said yes. And I was surprised. My buddy was surprised. But you know what? He then had him as a resource to learn these kinds of things and to really up his game. And it's really made an impact on him. And it's been really good. So don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Go ahead and ask the people that you look up to for what you're doing. And one of them will say yes. And then you start upping your game. And that will give you some leaps and bounds to help you earn more income, to help you, have more success and everything. And when you have more income and you're having more success with everything, it allows you to take more vacations. You have more money to go out and play with on your vacations. You have more security because you're now putting together a good retirement and everything. And life is good. It brings up your happiness. So Oleg, I hope that helps. And I'm Marky Dragon. Take care.